it for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, 'cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, 'cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, 'cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, 'cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to Lafleur. Oh!
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the ball!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est le dégagement et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Stanley pour les Canadiens, le 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs! And all together, they worked a young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup!
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. La Vida.tv. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
Live from Playground on this Saturday, December 16. It is 1 minute past 6 o'clock, and we are here. It is a special edition of a Montreal Canadiens pregame show right here on the Sick Podcast. The Cavaleros are here. Danny with the yellow tie, who's not wearing a yellow tie today, who's actually wearing a different color tie. It doesn't matter. He's here. Stefan from Quebec City came all the way down from Quebec City to come to Playground. Why? Because he heard the buzz, and he heard that the grand opening was Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. Tonight is night number 3. Tomorrow night's going to be night number 4. It's a special extravaganza. Why? Because it is the newly revamped, newly renovated Playground. If you were here up until a couple of weeks ago and you would come back tonight, you would not believe your eyes, because what they just pulled off is work of magic, I have to tell you. I am on the first floor. The second floor will be rocking and rolling tonight. It puts all discotheques to shame, trust me when I tell you that, with a couple of brand new restaurants that have opened up as well. Etc. Steakhouse is one, Japanese and sushi. The Drunken Dragon is another, and we're going to have a really, really good time tonight. The Montreal Canadiens are about just over an hour away from puck drop as they take on the New York Islanders tonight, a New York Islanders team that is hot despite losing to the Boston Bruins last night. Once again, how special a night is this? Stefan came down from Quebec City and told me there was an accident in Saint-Hyacinthe, and he got stuck there for an additional 2 hours. Imagine. But he also heard that La Belle Josée is supposed to make her way down here tonight, right? So he's wearing his best cologne. He's got his designer glasses on, and we're ready to go. He's not the only one who's here. A lot of people are here tonight. Once again, it's the Canadiens and the New York Islanders. The Canadiens have 28 points after 29 games. If they win tonight, guess what that means? What it means is they will have the same exact identical record as 1 year ago, when they had 30 points after 30 games. So we bring it up because a lot of people have been asking the question over the last couple of weeks, have the Montreal Canadiens progressed? Some say yes, some say no. If they pick up a win tonight, it's the same amount of points as 1 year ago. Keep in mind, though, that 1 year ago, the injured players were who? Jonathan Drouin, Mike Hoffman, and Sean Monahan. Monahan had missed about 5 or 6 games at the 30-game mark. The Canadiens have been without Kirby Dach since Game 2 of the season, where he went down in the first period. He's played 4 periods all season. That's a pretty significant loss. Add to that David Savard. Add to that Caden Gooley. Add to that Raphael Harvey-Pinard. I mean, there have been several. Add to that Christian Dvorak. So this is a team that, of course, unfortunately, for now the 3rd year in a row, has been absolutely depleted and decimated by injuries. The New York Islanders are a team that had a letdown a year ago, but they have bounced back. And boy, oh boy, are they really hot right now. The Islanders have won 6 of their last 8 games. In their last 10 games, a possible 20 points, they've picked up 15 points. They're 9-1-5 in their last 15, only 1 loss in regulation. That's right. We're talking about it. By the way, the game is going to be up on a screen or 2 here at Playground. You have to see the brand new poker room, by the way, which is on the 3rd floor. If there's a nicer poker room in the country, I haven't seen it yet. We're talking mini Vegas style here. That's what we're talking about. We're talking mini Vegas style. But no matter what I say tonight, no matter what I say right now to you, will not do it justice. What you have to do is take off those Saturday pajamas, take off the Saturday shorts, take off the boxers, whatever you're wearing. You don't have to put on your best suit nor your best tie. You can dress casual. Make your way down here and check it out for yourselves. A fantastic night of slots for your amusement and entertainment. The poker tables and poker games going on, of course. Music, ambiance, environment, entertainment. It checks all the boxes. Hey, where else can you go? Play a slot machine for a quarter or more, order a drink, and have them coming all night long. Huh? Talk about value. You have it here at Playground. 14 players plus 3 goalies took part in the optional skate for the Montreal Canadiens earlier today. The Canadiens, who have been working on over the past couple of days their offense. Why have they been working on their offense? Well, because in the last 4 games, the Montreal Canadiens have scored only 7 goals. 4 of those goals came courtesy of defensemen, which leaves 3 goals in the last 4 games. Of those 3, 2 of the 3 were scored on the power play. Do the math, add it all up. The Montreal Canadiens forwards have only scored 1 goal, 5-on-5, in the last 4 games. This New York Islanders team that I told you about is a really well-coached team by Lane Lambert's side, and coming off a shootout loss last night to the Boston Bruins, but man, they're hot. And they got real good goaltending, real good with Sorokin and Varlamov. They got one of the best duos in the league. And tonight you're getting Semyon Varlamov, who is their number 2. But if you're thinking it's going to be a walk in the park, think again. His record after 10 games, 6-3-1, a goals against average of .260, a save percentage of .921, and he has 2 shutouts to show for it. For the Montreal Canadiens, Samuel Montembeault gets his 2nd straight start. Montembeault with a record of 6-4-2, a goals against average of .278, a save percentage of .911. Before I forget, a special hello and a special shout out to Craig Ginger Ale. Is that right? In Whistler. All the way in Whistler, BC, Craig Ginger Ale, we're told, is an avid listener, an avid viewer, an avid fan. And unfortunately for Craig, he's in Whistler tonight, and we're here at Playground in Ganawage. And he wishes right now that he was us. But that's okay. Maybe one day we'll be able to get him down here. Maybe one day. The New York Islanders, you don't want to take penalties against this team. Their power play right now is working at a clip of almost 26%. Almost 26% for the New York Islanders power play. It's a pretty hot power play. Hey, guess what? Tonight marks the return of Alexander Romanov, former Montreal Canadiens defenseman, of course, who was traded in what was a 3-way deal between the Montreal Canadiens, the Chicago Blackhawks, and the New York Islanders a couple of years ago at the draft. The same draft when the Montreal Canadiens selected Juraj Slafkovsky with the first pick overall. The Montreal Canadiens earlier in the day, but they announced it once the draft had already started, had brokered a deal for Kirby Dach for a couple of draft picks, which were ended up flipped over to the New York Islanders. And the Islanders ended up trading a couple of their draft picks, of course, for Alexander Romanov. The Islanders, the way they're built, is the way you have success in today's National Hockey League. They're built with tremendous depth, talent, and a 200-foot game down the middle. With Bo Horvat, Brock Nelson, Jean-Gabriel Pajot, and Casey Cizikas. Cizikas and Cal Clutterbuck, 2/3 of a line that has existed for a very long time for the New York Islanders. It's a crash line. It's an in-your-face line. It's a hitting line. It's an energy line. And Fasching, of course, is playing left wing on that line. The Islanders' first line, Horvat with Matthew Barzal at right wing and Anders Lee at left wing. Barzal, of course, can play center and wing, but because they're already so stacked at center, you'll see him on the wing. Here's a guy who is really, really hot in the last little while. If you have him in your pool, you know what I'm talking about. Brock Nelson, centering Kyle Palmieri and Pierre Engvall on his left. Pajot with Holmstrom on his left and Julien Gauthier on his right. Julien Gauthier, of course, former New York Ranger and nephew of colleague Denis Gauthier, former National Hockey League player himself, former NHL defenseman, who used to play for Craig Button when he was GM of the Calgary Flames. On defense, Romanov and Noah Dobson. Noah Dobson, by the way, has an absolute rocket. This guy's got a laser. We talked about their power play. This guy can fire a puck as good as anyone. Riley and Aho on defense. Bolduc and Bortuzzo. Bolduc, of course, a second-round draft pick of the Islanders a couple of years ago, formerly of Blainville, Armada, Boisbriand for the Montreal Canadiens. Nick Suzuki with Cole Caulfield and Uri Slafkowski. Pay special attention to the second line, which has Jake Evans centering Sean Monahan on his left and Josh Anderson. But pay special attention to that because don't be surprised at one point if Anderson, if he's not going, ends up being switched up, possibly with Yelenin. Dvorak with Gallagher on his right, Armia on his left. Armia, normally a right winger playing on the off wing. But then again, Caulfield also shoots right, also playing on the off wing. You have a bunch of players who play on the off wing. A bunch of players. Uri Slafkowski shoots left. He's playing on the off wing. It seems like they like it that way. Mitchell Stevens with Michael Pezzetta and Jesse Ylonen. Emil Heineman was called up from the Laval Rockets several days ago, and we were wondering if Emil Heineman was going to make his Montreal Canadiens debut, his NHL debut. I, for one, would have loved for that to happen, but unfortunately, it didn't happen just yet. Heineman, you'll recall, was at Montreal Canadiens training camp. And he told members of the media, he says, you'll see, I'll have such a good camp that I'm going to end up making the team. Unfortunately, he didn't have as good a camp as he wanted to, and he didn't make the team. Emil Heineman is a guy who came over, of course, in the deal that sent Tyler Toffoli to the Calgary Flames. Emil Heineman, a former Florida Panther who was traded to Calgary, and Calgary ends up trading him to Montreal. Here's a guy who's got NHL size, who's got NHL instincts, and has an NHL shot. It's just a question of putting it all together. On a Montreal Canadiens team that could definitely use goal scoring right now, but it's going to have to wait. Tonight's a big game for the Montreal Canadiens. If the Montreal Canadiens' intentions, of course, are to make the playoffs, of course, that's their intentions. Whether or not they're going to hit it, we're going to have to wait and see. I still have my doubts. As a matter of fact, if I had to say yes or no, I would say no. They're still in a rebuild, and I don't see them making the playoffs this year. Next year, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Why is this a big game for the Montreal Canadiens, though? Traditionally, at this time of year, the Canadiens are playing their last home game before they end up playing many, many games on the road because you end up having, I don't know, Disney on Ice or whatever is booked in Montreal and they don't have the ice. You'll allow me to take a sip of water. Of course, we're doing this live. And it's not like I have Agnello sitting in here that I can have a conversation with. He's asked me to go solo. What we are going to do, though, we're going to bring in Stefan from Quebec City. Stefan, come join me, my friend. Tapapos, I'll give you my headphones. No problem. Here you go. There you go. You want the headphones? Okay, I'll give you the headphones, okay? Give me 1 second. We're going to give him the headphones. Don't grab that mic. It's not plugged.
But you have a good voice to me. I can hear you.
Okay. Here we go. Here are the headphones. This is what we're going to do, Stefan. We're going to share the mic right now, okay? We're going to share the mic. You're going to have to get closer. You're going to have to get closer is what's going to have to happen here. All right, okay, we're good. We're going to share the mic, all right?
Okay.
We're on a budget right now. You understand? We're on a budget, okay? So we got to share one mic, all right?
It's our first get together. It's the first.
Get closer. Get closer. Get closer. Tell me. Go. Talk. Go.
It's very close.
Say what you
Okay.
have to say. Go.
But I said that it is our first get together.
It's our first get together. Yes. And of course, I've been talking about a get together for quite some time, and we were waiting. Now you know why we were waiting. We
Okay.
were waiting to get the green light from Playground that it was fully renovated and revamped, so we can bring people here and we can show them what Playground looks like.
Yes.
And finally, the grand opening. It's a 4-day grand opening. The grand opening was Thursday, Friday, tonight, Saturday, and Sunday. The first 4 days, it's a big splash. And that's why we're here tonight.
Yes.
I'm happy to see you. I mentioned
Thank
you made the trek down from Quebec City.
Yes.
Wow.
It's supposed to take 3 hours, but it takes 5.
It's supposed to take 3 hours, but there was an accident at Saint-Hyacinthe, and he got, you know what? He got held up for another 2 hours. It took him 5 hours to get here. You realize that you could have taken a plane and gone to a sunny destination, huh?
Yes.
You could have done that. But I haven't given you the tour yet. When I give you the tour, this is better than a resort.
Okay.
Believe me when I tell you this. This is better than a resort. Okay, so I ask you, because everyone's asking over the last little while here, tonight the Montreal Canadiens hit the 30-game mark. Have the Montreal Canadiens progressed from 1 year ago, yes or no?
I think they are at the same place. And they're going to be at the same place for this year and next year's too, Tony. They have too many bad contracts. They can move players like they want. They don't have any prospect in Laval to faire monter,
To bring up, to recall. Yes.
to recall.
Yeah.
So I think they are at the same place. I think the organization is fine with that.
Yeah.
We have to wait.
Stefan from Quebec City. You ask him his opinion on the Montreal Canadiens, whether they've progressed or not. He not only answers for this year, he tells you exactly where they're going to be next year too.
Yes.
So regarde dans ta boule de cristal, you're looking in your crystal ball, I see.
Des bonnes lunettes aussi.
Okay, when you're looking in your crystal ball, do you see her walking out with some cash tonight or no?
No,
What's the
no,
story?
I don't talk about
You're
that.
usually not lucky with money, is that it?
Yes, sometimes.
You are. You are
Yes.
lucky with money.
Yes.
I'm not lucky with money, but I'm lucky with love.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd rather be lucky with money than I could buy all the love I wanted to.
It's more risky.
It's more risky that way. Eh? It's more risky. All right. So I say this. You said the Canadiens are at the same place. Statistically, yes. In the standings, yes. I say this. The Canadiens have taken maybe half a step to a step forward from a year ago.
Yes, the defensemen have 1 year more experience.
Well, they all have 1 year more experience,
yes,
right?
yes,
But yes,
but
their defense is a young
Yes,
group.
the young player.
Yeah.
Slavkovsky, éclat.
Slavkovsky has taken off.
He's taken
He's starting
off.
to shine.
Okay, but Suzuki, Caulfields, they are almost at the same place, and the other forward.
Caulfield's not at the same place. He's scoring at a rate much less than a year ago.
Yes, but
I look at it this way. I say the Canadiens' defense has improved. The offense from the defense has improved. They've scored the second most amount of goals of any defense corps in the entire National Hockey League behind the Colorado Avalanche. Where I think they've taken a step back is, unfortunately, there's a lack of goal production from Cole Caulfield compared to the rate that we're used to. From Josh Anderson, who only has 1 goal and an empty net 180 feet away. And there's a drop in points from the Dvoraks and a little bit by Monahan, a little bit. And that's what I think has affected Suzuki and the group. But other than that, Montembeault is doing better than he did a year ago. And a year ago, he took a step forward.
Yes.
Now he's taken another step forward. The defense has taken a step forward. They're competing. They're in games, it seems, a lot more. Take a look at all the overtimes, okay? Whether they win them or they lose them is irrelevant for me right now. What's important is if they're getting to overtimes, that means they're involved in close games.
But my response was based on the entire team. Okay.
Okay.
In the standing,
Yeah.
they're going to stay at almost at the same place than last year, and maybe next year it will be the same thing. But individually, like you said, yes, we saw some progress. So for sure.
Yeah.
But we have to patch at the offense, just not patch it, to find better player, prospect, in two or 3 years, make trade to have a good offensive player.
So you mentioned something.
Sign a free agent.
You mentioned something. You talked about the contracts. For me, that's going to be the whole turning point in the whole rebuild.
Yes.
Once some of those contracts come off the books, now you're starting to have a tremendous amount of flexibility. Think about this, for example, right? In my opinion, Jake Allen will be moved this year. Once he's moved, you're saving more than a couple of $1 million from going from Allen to Caden Primo.
But if they can trade him,
yeah,
it would be at the end of
the deadline.
At the deadline.
At the end of February, correct. Now, what am I getting at? Sean Monahan, in my opinion, will be traded. Tanner Pearson, in my opinion, will be traded. A lot of players that will be traded. You're going to have some younger players coming in who are knocking on the door, some entry-level contracts that they're going to go out and get. It gives you more cap flexibility. David Savard, after this year, has another year left on his contract. He makes $3.5 million. Once you start getting Savard out of the lineup, you start getting a younger player in the lineup, you have some cap flexibility. And now the two big ones. The two big ones, of course, there's a couple more. There's Armia and Dvorak this year and next year. At one point, they're going to come off the books. And then the finality is going to be Brendan Gallagher and Josh Anderson.
Yes.
And them coming off the books. They have 4 years left. And that's when, once they start to part ways with some of these contracts, bring in lesser contracts, have more cap flexibility, then they can go out, Stefan, and they can do what you just talked about, going out and signing that free agent.
Yes.
Right now, you can't. Your hands are tied.
I compare Montreal with Detroit.
If you have a chance, closer in the microphone. If you have a chance, closer.
I compare Montreal with Detroit in the last year.
Okay.
The 2 or 3 last year.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if they had that contract like Montreal.
Yeah.
But it's a long road to have it. It takes 4 years to be at where they are.
Yeah.
At the beginning with Iserman, we saw a very team in the
bottom of the standings. Bottom of the standings
for 3 years.
Yeah.
Last year they began to step up.
Yeah.
And this year they have a good team.
This is awesome now. As slowly but surely, hello, dear, a crowd is starting to assemble here at Playground, okay? And I'm going to tell you something. I worked in radio for 20 years. And radio used to do something that radio stopped doing a couple of years ago. Radio used to go out on the road. They used to go out on the road. They used to go into bars. They used to go to restaurants. They used to go to establishments. And they used to have shows on the road. And it would fill up and people would pass by. And you got to put a face to a name and shake hands and talk about sports. Bring people on the air the way I'm doing with you and talk to people about their favorite hockey team, even off the air. Radio used to do that. And at one point, radio kind of stopped doing it. Why? Because they said, well, we're not going to go to an establishment just for a one-off. Why not? Well, if they want us to do shows from there, they have to take an advertising campaign for the entire year, and we'd have to go once a week or once a month or whatever. I would have liked that every time someone picks up the phone and says, hey, I'd like to have a show done at my place today. Can we work it out? Yes. Because you have a chance once again to see the people. And in this business and in this industry, without the people, there is no show, Stefan.
Yes.
There's no show. And tonight we have the opportunity to do that.
Yes.
Courtesy of Danny with the, usually, that used to be Danny with the yellow tie.
Okay.
Danny with the yellow tie used to be a caller on the late Ted Stevens show.
Okay.
He used to call in. He used to be Danny with the yellow tie. He no longer is Danny with the yellow tie. Not anymore. He's not Danny with the yellow tie anymore. Are we good? How are we airing exactly? We look good? Okay. Why don't we put up a video? Why don't we do this? We'll put up a video, and when we come back, Marinaro, I'll pick up again with Stefan in Quebec City, live from the newly renovated, revamped playground in Ganawage. Get yourself down here. So what is it, Wi-Fi? Hold on a second. When I was talking, could you see me or was I jammed up? But I'm on.
Ouais, ils ont déjà été pris, hein? Ouais.
Am I on the Wi-Fi?
J'en avais pas pris. Non, je pensais que c'était là. Ça va.
All in, we came in to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, 'cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came in to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, 'cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came in to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, 'cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge.
All right, we're back. Okay, so this is a story, all right? Because with me, you're always going to get the story. We had to break away for about 4 or 5 minutes. Stefan from Quebec City, who drove down for 3 hours, was held up for 2 hours in traffic. Took him 5 hours to get here. Was so excited. He pulled on all the wires. The equipment went flying everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Okay, it's a little lie. There we go. Back to the St. Joseph's Oratory tomorrow. For me, confession again, because I told a little lie.
It's Cuckoo 69 who said that I put my finger on the button, but it's not true.
Cook 69, eh? Stefan, thanks so much for coming down. I talked about it before when I said, this is the beauty. I've told Agnello, I've told Sammy, I've told Juliana, I've told the Cavalieros, as many live shows as we can do. I want to come down. I want to meet the people. Want to shake hands. We want to watch the hockey game with them, and we want to show them a good time. And, of course, here they are. You're going to have a chance to explore Playground. Agnello's probably going to give you the tour himself personally, and you're going to see the slot machines on floor number 1. On floor number 2, there's going to be more slot machines as well as music, entertainment, some beautiful restaurants. There's the rail downstairs. There's the etc. on the second floor. There's a Drunken Dragon on the second floor. There's a premier poker room and cash game tables going on the third floor. It's unbelievable. We say goodbye to Stefan in Quebec City. All right, okay. Without further ado, let me bring in a buddy of mine. This is gonna be fun because I've been waiting for this for 20 years.
Oh, come on.
20 years I've been waiting for this. 20 years. We're gonna have to share a microphone, Frank. It's
Tony, I'm finally on the
we're gonna have to share a mic.
Oh,
That one went dead.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
unfortunately.
So now we're
yeah.
gonna be really close.
Yeah. Now we're gonna be really close.
You need some.
So okay,
breath mints, or no,
so
you're good?
some context here for those who are not aware. Okay. I don't know if Freeway
No,
Frank
no,
is
you
trying to
know
give me a message, but
Yeah,
he
we're
shows
gonna-
up and the first thing he does, he takes out his breath mints. Okay. So some context here for those who are unaware. Okay. Freeway and I, we worked for the same company. We worked in the same building. We worked in that same building together for what? At least in that building, about 8 years?
About 8 years, yeah.
About 8 years. And so we were I would say about a 50-foot walk away from each other in terms of respective studios.
Yep.
He was hosting the morning show, which went on from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Yep.
I was hosting 10 a.m. to noon, but unfortunately, we were never able to work radio together,
No.
right?
Minus a few times that you came on my show, I came on your show.
Yes.
And we talked in the hallways. We talked
Yes.
before the show, after the show, on the phone.
Yeah.
Like high school girls on the phone for 2-3 hours. Tony,
Yeah.
And I no offense to high school girls.
Yes.
But that's us. That's who we are. Now, finally, I'm on the Sick Podcast, and I'm really pumped to be here at Playground with you.
Yes.
Because we're the guys here at Playground, right?
We are the guys here at Playground. We're the smart ones who saw the light before everyone else. All right. And so you talked about being on the Sick Podcast. I was on the drive-by with Freeway Frank
You were.
several months ago.
Yeah.
All right. And so now you're on the Sick Podcast.
Highly rated drive-by podcast when Tony Marinaro was on, by the way. I
Thank
must
you.
say.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It did a little bit better with Lord Guzzo, but he is the Lord. What
Yeah,
can I
the
say?
Lord. You're soon to be the Lord.
It also did better with Angela Price. We have to, say
Angela
the real
Price
things.
came on my podcast too. But
Yeah.
the Grand Poobah of all Grand Poobahs, Tony Marinaro.
Oh, thank you.
That
Thank you very
meant a
much.
lot that you came on, Tony.
I'm very happy to hear that. All right, okay. I'm happy to have you here for a couple of reasons. Number one, you're a big hockey fan. Number 2, you're a Montreal Canadiens fan.
I am.
And number 3, you, like I, are a fan of Playground. All right?
Absolutely.
So.
And, first of all, I just wanted to say a shout out to Sammy and Agnello and all the good work they've done here on the Sick Podcast with you, because they really were able to bring it to the next level along with you and starting this together. And Tony, you have quite a podcast going on here, and I have to give you those accolades because you've been able to do in the last 3-4 years, something like that.
It's we're about 3.5 years, and we're about a year and a half full time.
Yeah, 3.5 years. What you've been able to do, and having worked in media your entire career, I did the same thing. Going off on your own is not easy, and the fact that you stuck to it, working very hard with your entire crew here, and you are where you are now, right? Doing this on your own. This is exciting. When you really think about it, you have no big corporation behind you. It's you three doing this together, and Playground has so much faith in you guys and know that you bring in the listeners and the fans that you're here broadcasting today. That's quite an accomplishment. So I wanted to tell you that off the top. So, on behalf of Playground, I'm sure they're happy I'm saying
yes, no, and I really thank you for saying that. But I'm going to tell you this. You and I both know that as happy as we are with our respective podcasts, we still have another 2 gears that we can take it to.
Absolutely.
Right? Maybe 3.
More. Yeah, maybe more.
Maybe 3.
Yeah.
All right? And so one day at a time. Rome wasn't built in a day, slowly but surely. Your radio career, how many years in radio experience?
Tony, I was 2 months short of 30 years. I started when I was years old.
Yeah.
And look, it was quite a ride. It was amazing. You never say never, but I love what I'm doing now. And doing the podcast and doing it on my own has been fantastic. It's going to celebrate 2 years next Tuesday, my podcast.
Yeah. So as great a broadcaster as you are, in my opinion, at the end of your radio career, that's when you were at your best, in my opinion, because you're like fine wine. With experience, with every show, we get better and better. And so I say that because the podcast, you're a couple of years in the podcasting world as well. So let's give it 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more years, and then we're going to get to where we both want to get to.
Absolutely.
Okay, Playground. For those who have never been here, don't even know the name Playground because they've been hiding under a rock, all right? You've been here longer than I have. You've been doing some work for Playground for quite some time now.
Yep, as their brand ambassador. Some would call me the face of Playground, which is fantastic. A big compliment. And so I've been here for, I would say, about 3.5 years when the CEO first called me in. And I first stepped in Playground 13 years ago. They just celebrated their 13th year since they opened their front doors. Remember the original entrance?
Yes.
So I was here in 2010 when they first opened the doors, and I had heard about this place. I was still living in Calgary. I hadn't come back here to work in Montreal radio yet, and I've always been a big poker player. And I walked into this room for the first time, and I was completely blown away. And imagine, Tony, it's just the small little room, the original entrance. And now this, with the new playground, the new floors, the new EGD area, and what they've done, fine dining, entertainment. It's truly spectacular what they've been able to do in the last 13 years.
And Freeway Frank is a perfect brand ambassador for Playground. I'm not just saying that because you're here. I am hoping you're probably going to slide me $1,000 by the end of the night. But one of the reasons why I'm saying it is, for those of you who don't know Freeway Frank and don't know how big his passion for poker is, we're talking about a guy who's been in Vegas over 30 times.
38 times.
38 times. Who's played in the World Series of Poker before.
No, I've never played in the main event.
You have never played in the main event?
I played some WPT events, but I've had some Canadian Poker Tour events. I never played in the but that's a bucket list item.
By the way, speaking of bucket list, I've never been to Vegas, and I always wanted to go, but not that much anymore.
You don't need to go to Vegas anymore.
Why go to Vegas when I have Playground?
And look, it's literally 20. I count the minutes and seconds.
And I don't have to exchange my money.
No, you don't.
Right?
Here, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And look, Tony, I count the minutes. I'm 22 minutes away, door to door from my home here. And what they've done, first of all, they already had one of the best poker rooms in North America. But what they've done now with the new third floor is, in my opinion, one of the best rooms in North America and the best room in Canada. It's, built by poker players for poker players. And if you know anything about the game, because I think you've dabbled a little in the game,
I know a little bit about the game.
The way they've made the room, the way they put together, they have the two high limit VIP rooms as well. The way all the tables are structured with, now you could see all the Habs games, whatever you're watching, whether it's the Montreal Canadiens or the Alouettes or NFL football, whatever sport is on. Now you could actually see the screens. Before, it was in the original arena-like area, which was great.
Yeah.
Still spacious, but now it's a true poker room. And the old area where they had the poker room, they're not going to have more EGD machines more than ever. And that's going to be even next level stuff when we're talking about people who love EGD machines. And they do. This is one of the best places to get them in Canada.
So come down. We are at Playground. We're going to be here. Freeway Frank's going to be here all night. I'm going to be here for several hours. Just to give you an idea, right? My wife's coming down later tonight, and I came down with my truck. She's going to come down with hers because I told her chances are I'm going to be leaving a little bit later.
Oh, nice.
Later than you are. So make your way down to Playground in Ganawage. Come check it out. You'll see the signage everywhere. It's an unbelievable spot. And once again, I have to say this, and I'll end it with this. When you're looking for entertainment, when you're looking for laughs, when you're looking for a good time, you're looking for music, you're looking for ambiance, you're looking for games, fun and games. It's your one-stop shop, basically, is what it is. Make your way down. You'll see for yourself. And once you step foot in Playground, you're going to keep on coming back. So I should say that with a warning. On to the Montreal Canadiens versus the New York Islanders tonight. Once again, I know you're a big Habs fan. I still have a picture in my phone, by the way. You and I. You remember what I'm talking about?
When we went to your neighborhood church.
Yes, that's one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, and we went to say a prayer for the Montreal Canadiens.
Yes. What other picture? Oh, at the during the playoffs?
During the playoffs versus the New York Rangers.
Yes, during
the
Rangers.
semifinals.
Was that the?
Remember all those people outside, and
that was amazing.
They had everyone's. They had video going up on the screen, and there was music and there was ambiance, and people were parading around with fake Stanley Cups and stuff like that because they thought Canadiens were going to the final.
We're gonna win. Yeah.
But unfortunately,
it didn't happen.
Kreider went into Carey Price.
Yes. I was just going to say the Kreider incident. That was sad. And look, Carey Price is still there in spirit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was a big part of the Montreal Canadiens. And over the years, I got to know some of the players that played on the team, and so I've always been a fan, as you have, and you've gotten to know a lot of the players.
Max Pacioretty, by the way. Freeway and Max Pacioretty.
Well, no.
They're like this.
I haven't heard from him in a long time.
They're like this.
But he's a fantastic guy. And so, you know what? What it does when you meet some of the guys, you start to realize that they're just like us, Tony, right?
Yeah.
They're human. And they have good days. They have bad days. And just like we do. But one thing that I've always respected about you and your style doing sports radio, and the reason why you're the GOAT here in Montreal, is you always tell it like it is, no matter what. And you were.
That's why everybody hates me.
Yeah, I don't think they hate you. I think people look. You're a polarizing figure, and there's nothing wrong with that. You need to be polarizing in sports, or else it's boring.
Polarizing figure says who? says Freeway Frank.
I said it's sports. But look, you were calling. Can I say the word that begins with an R and ends with a D? Yeah. You were calling for a rebuild for many years, and now
since 2009.
Since 2009,
the year of the centennial.
Yes, and look, the Canadiens, I have no doubt in my mind, are going to be a good team in years to come, and it's always exciting watching them play because they're younger players. I have to be totally honest; it's been hard to watch games this year because I've been extremely busy working on a lot of different things. And before, I seemed like I would be at the Bell Center all the time catching it. You remember that.
Yes.
I was always there, and I haven't been. I'm ashamed to say I haven't been in a while, but that doesn't mean they still don't have my heart. But
and he always had a great seat because all of his best friends have loges.
Yeah. We spent some nice nights together, Tony, and I hope to spend more. So,
are you concerned about Caulfield's lack of production?
No, because he's a young guy, and everybody goes through, as I said, everybody goes through streaks, and next thing you know, it could turn it around and be completely on fire for the next few months, and then we'll forget about it. So, you know what? It's
Goal scorers are usually like that, right?
Yes,
they're usually very hot,
Yep.
very cold, they're
Very
streaky.
Yep.
You know, I
Absolutely.
just talked about your friendship with Max Pacioretty.
Yep.
Max had some great seasons. 39 goals, 37 goals, 35 goals, 33
Very
goals.
underrated player, I found, considering, you know,
He was
what
great.
He did.
He was great value at his contract of
Great value.
$4.5 million for the
Absolutely.
longest time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Had that contract. And then
Yeah.
when he wanted to get more and his contract was up, well, that's when
Yeah.
he was traded.
Yeah. I mean, look,
The night before the golf tournament.
Yeah, I was there with him and a couple of other friends when that happened. And
You were there where? At the golf tournament?
No,
or-
I was. Sorry, I was at the which golf tournament was I at? I wasn't at the Canadiens one. That was the night before it happened. I was at the
His
one,
golf tournament was about a month before,
month
give or take, maybe
before.
even less.
Yeah, and I felt like something was brewing. Something
That's where
was
everyone
coming.
was wondering if Marc Bergevin was going to show up or not.
Correct. Yes,
Right?
Yes.
And then he
so
showed up,
He
and
showed
they
up. Yeah.
gave each other a handshake that looked like it was for the cameras.
Yeah, and then a
And
month
then
later it was game over.
That image. And,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know, and it's look. I'll say this on behalf of Max. He loved playing here in Montreal, and look, you never say never. You never know what happens in life. I'm a true believer of that.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that would walk the streets, and you couldn't walk more than a block without having somebody stop and ask for a picture. And he's just, to me, one of the nicest guys.
welcome
and,
to my world, Max.
Yeah, it's you. It's Tony Marinaro. It's the Tony Marinaro effect. So look, the Canadiens had some exciting years since I've been back, at least here in Montreal. I've been back for 13 years. It's
Yeah.
a long time. I shouldn't say now I've been back.
Yeah.
It's 13 years, but it was some exciting times. And now you just have to just ride it out. Because
How much confidence do you have in the duo of Gordon Hughes, or maybe even make it a trio of Gordon Hughes and St. Louis?
Yeah, I think having Martin St. Louis here brings a ton of experience. He's a rookie coach, of course, and
Yeah.
they've given him the benefit of the doubt, and I think it makes it for an exciting challenge for him to be put in that position to guide this young team. And I think the guys they brought them in for a reason, So they must know what they're doing, Tony.
Yeah.
I have complete faith in them, and I listen to you a lot and watch you a lot, and I know you do too. But you call it the way it is, and I think we just have to hang in there, and things will get better over time.
Slavkovsky, it's encouraging because at one point this season, I was like, okay, hold on a second here. Put him with Caulfield and Suzuki, keep them together for 10 games. If it doesn't work, then at that point, you probably have to send them down to Laval. They put him with Caulfield and Suzuki at one point, give or take about a month ago. Couple of games together, took them off, and now it's a couple of games that they're back, and Slavkovsky is starting to show a lot of encouraging signs. He's no longer the player who's getting hit. He's no longer the player who has his head down. He now is a player who is not giving away the puck for no reason. He's playing with a lot of confidence.
Yep.
And right now we have to say that as much criticism as the Canadiens took in their handling of Slavkovsky, right now they're right.
Yeah. And Tony, look, it's easy to give criticism, right? And attack. You go back even to the Bergevin era. He made some good moves. He made some bad moves, right?
Yeah.
And it's never perfect. And I only realized this because I was that armchair fan sitting in my living room saying, "Oh, they should have done this,
Yeah.
should have done this." Easy to say. You're somebody that lives, breathes, and like works hockey. This is your livelihood. So you dissect it like a coach would.
That's a stretch.
or a scout.
Thank
No,
you. That's a
no,
stretch.
honestly,
Yeah.
your shit. Not to say that us fans don't know, but as
And
I
the beauty
said,
of podcasts is we can say the word shit and it doesn't have to get
did, I,
said.
did
Yeah.
I just say that?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry about that.
No,
Did
no,
you
it's
drop
no.
a couple of F-bombs on my podcast? I don't remember.
I probably
Okay.
did. I probably did. And you know what? We're allowed to say it.
Yes.
We don't get our hands tapped,
Yes.
our hands slapped,
I
or
wasn't
whatever.
even thinking. So that's the beauty of podcasts. Yes,
Yeah.
you don't have to think.
Yeah.
But Tony, I love what you're doing
And
here.
and the beauty of radio is that some people can actually say those words and it's okay, and others, well, then they get their hands slapped.
Exactly. But I love what you're doing here. I love the fact that, honestly, like I walk in and I come through the new lobby here, which is wonderful. 5-star playground has took it up like so many notches now. And then we come here and you're broadcasting and you're doing your podcast here. I mean, it's pretty exciting when you really think about it. You know, it's we're heading into 2024. We started doing this years ago, and you're talking about the Montreal Canadiens pregame.
Yeah.
You're doing this as you would if you were on traditional media, but you're doing it here with your crew, podcasting. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's.
You know what? Truth be told, I could have done a post-game show as well.
But you want to be partying.
But I want to be partying.
Exactly.
At Playground.
Yes, exactly.
So I said to Daniello when he asked me, he said, what do we do, pregame or postgame? I said, we're going to do pregame. He said, why? So we'll go on between 6 and 7. We'll do the pregame. Then we're going to go have a bite to eat.
Yep, see?
Then we're going to play the slots. Then we're going to play a little bit of poker.
Nice.
Then we're going to take in the ambiance. We're going to enjoy the music on the second floor. It's all planned out.
That's the way you do it, Tony. You know how to party. You know how to... We know how to eat. We know how to eat, too.
I definitely know how to eat. That I can tell you, yes.
I said we know, as Italians.
Yeah. I prepared so much for this, I didn't have lunch today.
Oh.
Because I really want to have fun tonight.
Yes. 2 new restaurants, by the way. Can we mention that?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm interrupting this podcast to bring you the Drunken Dragon, which we were in just the other night together.
On Thursday night, we were here, correct.
5-star sushi. Robin is the head chef at Drunken Dragon, and an experience like no other. You'll have to reserve, as they just opened up these restaurants in the last couple of days. The other one is Etc. It's a steakhouse.
Yes.
Same thing. Call for reservations, set it up, and
did you see the amount of people working in those restaurants?
No, it's unbelievable.
The service is going to be second to none in those restaurants.
Second to none. And that is very reminiscent to me of, like I'm walking on the second floor. And again, you don't have to go to Vegas. It feels like you're there, and you're here just 15, 20 minutes from downtown Montreal across the Mercier Bridge. So
they just underwent a phase 1 of renovations. How many phases there will be, I don't know. It's a big state secret right now.
Yeah.
But I think it's safe to say that there might even be a phase 2 at some point.
Well, it's possible. I mean, I'm not going to speculate because I'm just the face of Playground. I'm not a manager.
Danny,
I don't make the decisions.
Will there be a phase 2 of renovations at some point? A phase 2 at some point? There will be a phase 2.
There you go. You heard it here first.
There we go.
On the Sick Podcast. There you go. So there will be.
You know what phase 2 is going to require, right? It's going to require 2 special podcast studios.
Yes.
One for the drive-by with Freeway Frank.
I've already mentioned that to them.
And one with the Sick Podcast. It would be nice.
Absolutely. Or we share the same studio to keep the costs down.
I don't mind.
Huh?
I don't mind.
I'm always thinking. Yeah.
We could share the same studio. I have no problem. Yeah, no problem at all. Jake Allen.
Yes.
You're Kent Hughes. What are you doing with Jake Allen? He's got this year on his contract at $3.85 million. He's got next year on his contract at $3.85 million. Do you keep him here to continue to show Samuel Montembeault the way?
Yes.
Or do you part ways with him at some point so that you can go with Montembeault and Caden Primo?
Well, I mean, Caden Primo had a bad outing, right? A couple of weeks ago.
Where he gave up 5.
5. All
glove side. But he also bounced back with a 46 save performance in Buffalo.
Yes.
And the Canes win.
Yes, exactly. He's a young guy. Yes, I like the fact of having, showing him the way and being able to be there as a veteran. And that's a pretty good duo, in my opinion, if they went with that. And you know what? Could be.
I wouldn't give up on Primo, though.
I wouldn't give up on him either, no. But you know what? Jake Allen, he's a veteran.
Yes.
And,
but do you need a veteran in a rebuild?
Probably not. No.
Did I just convince you otherwise? Or?
Yeah, you convinced me.
Probably.
Yeah. And that brings up the whole Carey Price thing as well, right?
Yeah.
We had Carey for so many great years, and Carey nearly got us to the promised land. I mean, if you take him and put him on a healthy, obviously, Carey Price.
The year they went to the Stanley Cup final, you invert the goalies?
Yes.
Vasilevsky plays for the Canadiens. Price plays for the Lightning. Price wins the Stanley Cup with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Or any other team, for that matter, that was looking for a shutdown goalie. So
yeah, unfortunately, they weren't able to surround them all but that year a couple of years ago where they went all in.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they went up against a team, as Marc Bergevin said, a team that was playing the same style of hockey as the Canadiens, only better and with more talent and more depth. And that's the reason why they lost. Frank, Freeway Frank, this has been a lot of fun. Tell people where they can find the drive-by with Freeway Frank.
Thanks for mentioning that. Okay, so the Drive-By Like the Sick podcast is available everywhere you get your podcasts, including on YouTube. When I have guests sitting across from me, it's on YouTube. And all the episodes are available on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, you name it, Google. It's on there everywhere. And I release podcasts every Tuesday and Thursday, and we don't stop. Don't stop till you get enough.
But for all the hockey fans that are watching right
Yes.
now, they're saying, hold on a second, he's got his podcast. Okay, what does he talk about? What is he talking about?
So my podcast is about having people come on, interesting and intriguing guests. They could be notables, they could be celebrities, but they could be everyday people that have a story to tell with no time limit. And it's a free and open space to talk about anything and not be afraid to talk about whatever it is we discuss. Like when Tony came on, if you check out that episode, it was fantastic. Hearing Tony on the other side, not asking the questions, but answering the questions, I thought was great. You could check out that episode. Do you remember what number it was?
I do
It
not.
did very
know.
well.
I do not know. I do know that about a month ago, you had a young lady on who had quite the adventure on
Yep.
a cruise ship
And that's an example, So,
in Australia.
Yes, so I had Melanie Roberge on the podcast. She was one of two women that were, I guess, part of a six-person drug mule outfit, and they were on a cruise. It was a big story here in Quebec. They were on a cruise ship 52 days, and when they were about 3 days away from getting to their
52
final
weeks, no?
52 days.
52 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
I thought it was all year round.
No, 52,
52
which is
days.
already a crazy cruise.
Yeah.
And when they were on day 49, they hit the port of Sydney, and they were arrested for smuggling. I believe it was street value $65 million worth of cocaine, 95 kilos, which is insane.
Yeah.
And you could hear the entire story. My podcast was the first English podcast she did. She's
Yeah.
a very well-spoken person. Unfortunate set of circumstances for her. She realized she made some pretty big mistakes,
Yeah.
but she's a very good speaker. We had a great time sitting down. So I'm glad you brought that up, because
Yeah.
those are the types of people I like to have on and
Yeah.
really get down to the nitty gritty
I hear you.
of the conversation. And there was so much she brought up on that podcast that I guess you wouldn't hear on traditional media. So
And next time I'm going to have a podcast, I'm going to bring you on because Freeway Frank smuggled Altoids
brought to you by.
mints. Brought to you by.
What else can we?
Broccoli's at the
What else can we
playground.
put at the bottom of the screen? How much would it cost me to put the drive-by on there?
On there?
Yeah, we'll make a deal.
We could definitely
Okay.
make a deal. Yes, we could definitely make a deal.
Maybe we barter.
But 2-year agreements minimum.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 2-year
You don't mess
agreements
around,
minimum. No, we don't mess
Okay.
around.
Okay.
No, we don't. We want to have the same partners and sponsors up there for a
Absolutely,
while.
I'm with you.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, I think,
I'm
right?
right there. Yes.
Not going to go on one day and say these people make the best burger, and then 2
another
months later
person
say
comes
another
on.
person
Yeah,
makes
no,
the
no,
best
you're
burger,
right,
right? Mind you, if you pay me enough, I'll say anything.
Whatever.
Freeway Frank, the drive-by, he's here at Playground. As a matter of fact, you'll be here more than just tonight. You can catch him here a couple of days per week. He's usually here on Sundays.
I'm here on Sundays hosting the Win a Million game show, which is right here behind us.
Yeah.
Gagner un million. So we started at 2 o'clock up until 8 o'clock in the evening with a bonus round for $1 million at 9 o'clock. And we qualify 3 people every 90 minutes for a total of 12, plus the 4 extra $1 million winners, 16 people tomorrow afternoon starting at 2 o'clock.
I want to thank everyone for joining us, everyone who's down here right now, everyone who's going to be listening, everyone who is watching. And once again, I want to thank our sponsors and our partners, La Bita TB, Energy Transportation Group, Accent Insurance Solutions, and of course, Playground, where we are here live in Ganawagi. It's the Canadiens and the New York Islanders. They go tonight. A Canadiens win will give them 30 points after 30 games, the exact same record they had a year ago. It's Samuel Montembeault going up against Simeon Varlamov, and the 4 centermen that the New York Islanders have. There's a lot of depth there at center. This one's going to be tough. It's going to be a battle. Bo Horvat, Brock Nelson, Jean-Gabriel Pajot, and Casey Cizikas. It's a big challenge, but the bright side is the Canadiens catch the New York Islanders, who are playing their second game in as many nights. They played at home versus the Boston Bruins last night and lost in a shootout. For Freeway Frank, I'm Tony Marinaro. For Agnello, Sammy, and Juliana, usually at Master Control, but here at Playground, that's it. We're out. Enjoy the hockey game, everyone. Thanks for watching.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow The Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. LaBeat.tv, embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.